Hi. We have a need to help other people. Think about it. When you help someone with a project or a task, don't you generally feel really happy about that? You feel really happy and joyful and feel really nice about yourself and about the world when you do that. Now, some people point to that as proof that everything we do is for our own self-interest, that there really isn't anything like pure altruism in the world, that there's this pervading human selfishness, and it's really that explains why we help other people. But what it really is that we have a need to help others. And when that need is fulfilled, just like when any of our other needs are fulfilled, then we feel happy. We feel joyful about that. And really, understanding that gives me or helps me feel a lot more hopeful and optimistic about the world than relying upon some sort of faith that people will do good things or help other people seemingly against their own desires. So if I have a need to help others and everyone else has a need to help others, then I want to give help based upon that need. And I want to ask for help also based upon that need. Often in our lives, we help others or ask for help based upon some sort of obligation that we're expected to, or that we should help, or that they should help. But obligations can quickly create feelings of resentment or shame. We feel resentful of the fact that we're doing something that we really don't want to be doing. And thus, it feels like our very will is being taken away from us. Or we feel ashamed. We're ashamed that we feel that we need to, or we think that we need to do something, that we have to, or we should do something to help this person. But we really don't want to. And when we don't do it, we feel ashamed, or maybe just the thought of not wanting to brings with it feelings of shame and guilt. And obligations work in the same system of rewards and punishments. We want to fulfill our obligation to help others, either to gain some sort of external reward, or to avoid a punishment. But really, a healthier option is to help others based upon our own need to help. So to help others in order to fulfill our need to help. Now, some will say that that state of joy or happiness that we feel when we do help another person is a reward in and of itself. So I'm not really escaping the reward-punishment game. But there's a distinct difference between a reward and getting a need met. When our needs are met, then we are being returned to, we are being restored to our natural state of joy. At our natural state, all of our needs are met, and thus we feel elated, joyful, and happy. So is being returned to our natural state of being really a reward? Well, let me give an example. Let's say I'm at work and I see my coworker Jill, and she is struggling. She has a pile of work on her desk. She's feeling really stressed. I see her furiously trying to get through her work so that way she can get off by 5 and get to her daughter's recital on time. I, on the other hand, have a pretty easy afternoon. There's not very much on my plate. So as I watch Jill struggle and enter despair and then anger, I feel really sad. I'm sad that Jill is feeling so much stress, so much despair, so much anger. And naturally, out of that sadness, I reach out my hand and ask, can I help? And when Jill says yes, and I manage to help her, and she does get out the door by 5, I feel elated. I'm so happy. Now, I can understand that elation in 2 ways. One way is through rewards. So when I feel elated, I might think, wow, yes, this is great because now Jill will finally like me. Or I might think, oh, yes, terrific. This is great because now in the future I can ask Jill for a favor and she'll definitely help me then. Or I might think, wow, I am the most kind, the most generous, the best coworker in the whole office. No one is better or nicer or more generous than me. But when we base that elation on those rewards, then in about 2 weeks when Jill snaps at us, or I ask Jill for a favor and she says no, or I walk into the coffee room and everyone's just talking about how terrific Jen is, my blood is probably going to start boiling. I'm going to think, well, why aren't these people recognizing the rewards to which I'm due? But there's another way to understand that elation. I can understand that what I'm really feeling is, wow, I'm so happy that Jill got to get out of work by 5 and that she got to get to her daughter's recital on time. I'm just really happy that Jill got to do all that, and I'm really happy that I got to help her do that. And it stops there. I'm simply joyful over the fact that my need to help was fulfilled, or is fulfilled. So, why don't people help? Why aren't we all going around all the time helping one another and getting our needs met? Well, there's a lot of reasons for that. Too many that I can cover right now, but let me give just a couple of really compelling reasons that prevent us from helping others all the time. One is that sometimes we've chosen not to pursue a certain need in a given situation. So I might decide that I'm not going to pursue my need to help at work. Rather, I'm only going to pursue that need with my family at home. So I can be a really helpful parent to my child, or I can be a really helpful spouse, but at the same time be a really unhelpful coworker. I've chosen, for whatever reason, to only pursue my need to help in one situation, and in another situation I've decided that I'm not going to pursue that need. Or sometimes we've resigned ourselves to a worldview that the world is one of scarcity, that there is some sort of dire mortal competition happening all the time, that it's a dog-eat-dog world out there, and that the only way to get what's mine, what's due to me, is at the detriment of everyone else around me. And so I don't help others because I'm constantly afraid that if I do that, then I'll lose out in some other way. But notice when we're occupying those mindsets, that we're really not feeling our full, joyful, elated selves, and the lack of those positive emotions points us to the fact that there's something within us that's not being served by that worldview. Or sometimes we think we are helping other people, just the other people don't see it as help. An example is when I don't tell my child the answer to their math problem, Because I think that by not telling them that answer, I'm really helping them to learn, to figure it out on their own. But certainly my child is not thinking I'm being very helpful when they come up and ask, what's the answer to this problem? Or I may not know how to help. So I can clearly see that my friend Sarah is in distress, but if I don't know how to help her, or if I don't know what she's looking for to feel helped, then I'm likely to go into some sort of freeze or flight reaction. I might get real rigid and locked up and not know how or what to do. Or I might try to escape the situation altogether because it's just too uncomfortable for me. And finally, sometimes we just don't know that other people need help. Because a situation for one person might be really hard and they need help. But for another person, they might really appreciate having that challenge in their life that they can overcome by themselves. Or for another person, it just may not be that big of a deal. And so for them, it doesn't seem like anyone would need help in that situation because it's just not a really big situation to handle. So when we find ourselves in need of help, the best way to get it is by making very specific, doable, and positive requests. Thanks for watching.